Here is exactly how the CDL knowledge test works and how to pass it in just a few minutes. Your commercial driver's license is issued by your state, but the rules behind it are federal. FMCSA sets the standards in Title 49, Part 383, and your state licensing agency writes and gives the actual test from its own CDL manual, almost always adapted from the AAMV, a model manual. It is multiple choice, usually on a computer at the licensing office. Start with the passing score because it is the one number that never moves. 80%. Every knowledge test in every state. That is written into the federal rule 383.135. But here is what most guides get wrong. The number of questions and the time limit are not federal. Your state sets those, and they differ. So do not memorize a question count you read online. Open your own state's CDL manual and check. 80% is the constant. Now the big one, and it changes how you plan your whole day at the licensing office. The CDL test is not one test. General knowledge is the test everyone takes. If your vehicle has air brakes, that is a second, separate test. If you want a Class A, combination vehicles is a third. And every endorsement, hazardous materials, tanker, doubles and triples, passenger, school bus, is its own test on top of those. A typical tractor-trailer driver sits 3 knowledge tests before ever touching the skills test. And air brakes carries a trap worth knowing before you go. If you fail the air brakes test, or you take your skills test in a vehicle that does not have air brakes, the state must add a restriction to your license. The letter L, that restriction bars you from driving any commercial vehicle with any kind of air brakes, which is very nearly every tractor-trailer on the road. Skipping air brakes to save an hour can cost you the job. So which class do you actually need? Class A is a combination rated 26,001 pounds or more, as long as what you are towing is rated over 10,000 pounds. Class B is a single vehicle rated 26,001 pounds or more, or that vehicle towing something 10,000 pounds or less. Class C is anything smaller that either carries 16 or more people including the driver, or hauls hazardous materials that require placards. Before the road test, you need a commercial learner's permit, and you get that by passing the knowledge tests. Then federal rule makes you wait. You cannot take the skills test in the first 14 days after the permit is issued. The permit stays valid for up to 1 year without retaking the knowledge tests. You will also need a DOT medical certificate, and you must self-certify what kind of driving you are going to do. Age: 21 to drive across state lines, and most states will license you at 18 for driving only inside your own state. There is one more requirement that catches people out completely. Since February 7th, 2022, entry-level driver training is mandatory. First-time Class A and Class B applicants, anyone upgrading from Class B to Class A, and anyone getting a school bus, passenger, or hazardous materials endorsement for the first time, must train with a provider listed on FMCSA's Training Provider Registry. And here is the part that surprises even experienced drivers. For the hazardous materials endorsement, that training is theory only, but you have to finish it before you are allowed to take the knowledge test. Not before the road test, before the written test. Show up without it and you will be turned away. Also requires a TS, a security threat assessment, fingerprints, and a background check, renewed at least every 5 years. 3 real questions. First, which license class do you need for a combination with a gross combination weight rating of 60,000 pounds, where the towed unit is rated over 10,000 pounds? Class A, both halves of that rule matter. The combined rating clears 26,001, and what is being towed clears 10,000. Second, from air brakes. On a vehicle with air brakes, the low air pressure warning signal must come on before tank pressure drops below what level? 60 psi, not 45, not 85. 60. Third, you hold a CDL with no endorsements. What may you legally haul? Hazardous materials in quantities that do not require placards. The endorsement is triggered by placards, not by the word hazardous. And no, staying inside one state does not exempt you. So how do you prepare? 4 habits. First, study from your own state's official CDL manual and drill practice tests until you are consistently well above 80%, not just scraping it. The real questions are written from that manual, so any generic study guide is second best by definition. Second, memorize the numbers cold. CDL questions turn on a single figure. 60 psi for the low air warning. 4/32 of an inch of tread in every major groove on your front tires. 1 second of following distance for every 10 feet of vehicle length below 40 miles an hour. If you are fuzzy on the number, you lose the question. There is no partial credit. Third, keep a log of every question you miss and the reason you missed it, then re-drill only those. And weight your time toward the section you are weakest in, not the one you enjoy. Most people overstudy general knowledge and walk into air brakes cold. Fourth, read every question all the way to the end. A lot of CDL items are which statement is true lists with one word flipped, must becomes may, before becomes after, front becomes rear. The wrong answers are almost right on purpose. So remember, 80% to pass everywhere. Question counts and time limits vary by state. It is not one test, general knowledge, air brakes, combination vehicles, plus every endorsement. Skip air brakes and you get the L restriction. 14 days between the permit and the skills test. And 4, the training comes before the written test. Start now with free CDL practice questions at .com/en/CDL English, Chinese and Spanish with no sign up.